Welcome back to the program. Time for our last conversation this morning on our lifestyle segment. We want to talk about menstrual hygiene and specifically reusable pads on set. I'm joined by Bethsheba Otuga, who's the director stroke founder of Ahadi Reusable Pads. Good morning, Bethsheba.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You're doing great?
This morning, yes.
You know, we say that when you get a chance to see each and every day, you give thanks.
Very much.
It's a lot going on that what?
Yes. So I'm good and I'm happy to be here.
You're good and you're happy to be here. Let's just get into it. Ahadi Reusable Pads. Right now we are seeing so many initiatives, especially about reusable pads, given the fact that even as we speak, about 65% of girls and women still do not have access to this important commodities. So for you as a person, what brought about the Ahadi Reusable Pads program? Okay,
I'll start by the name Ahadi. Ahadi in Kiswahili means promise. So this is a promise of a better future for the girls that they can be able to attain. Maximizing potential, fulfilling destiny. That is my theme. I almost dropped out of school myself because I didn't have pads. One day I sat in the library and at home time I had a pool.
This was your day one?
Not even day one, okay. Along the way.
All right.
These are the salient features because every woman has had an oops day.
Yeah.
I believe so. You've had several.
It happens.
So this was a big oopsie because there's a pool of blood under my table, under my chair, and the boys and girls were there. And here I am, embarrassed and stigmatized. So I didn't, just picked my things and dashed out. It was at 9 p.m. So you see that God saved me actually because it was in the dark.
Yeah.
But I left that thing there. And I was seated at the door, so everybody was going to pass by there.
And everyone was going to see what has happened.
This is the room, this is the door, and I'm seated here. We're sitting along the room like this. And I just took my things and left. I didn't go back. I was in a day school, and that was the community reading room. Our homes, you know how they were in Nairobi in those days. So I couldn't be able to catch up with my studies. I wanted to be a teacher. I knew I wanted to go to Form A levels, and I knew I wanted to be a graduate teacher. So I saw my grades going down and I said, why not go back? And I went back. I didn't wait for people to say anything. I just continued doing my thing. But I know not many girls can have that confidence. And many have fallen out. One, because they have been embarrassed and ashamed. They don't want to go back. They're stigmatized. Two, they cannot afford pads. You've said 65%. According to the Ministry of Education and Care International, 2.8 million girls currently in Kenya cannot afford pads. We know we have pads that have been subsidized or they have reduced, they've taken out tax. But a packet of ordinary pads, which maybe are not very good, is 50 bob. They cannot. A parent is earning 200 shillings a day. How will they use 50 bob for?
What becomes of priority to them?
It isn't a priority. So many girls have ended up getting messed up in that they're using things that are not hygienic. So I've been researching. One day I met Dada, and they were collecting pads for girls. I told them I can make reusable pads out of nowhere. They told me, bring. So I made my first pad. It was awful. I never returned it. So I told you in 2018, I met Somo, Africa. They are an organization that nurtures ideas and brings them to business. You know, many people have business ideas, but they cannot collect themselves to come up and start a business.
Yeah, it's scattered everywhere.
Scattered. They just know that I should be maybe baking healthy cakes, but they can't come down and put down their business plan and then execute it. So Somo helped me. I was the eldest in the class, but I said, it's my life. And the place where I am, I've just come out from another job and I'm nowhere.
Plus you wanted to help.
And I wanted to help. I really wanted to help. So when they taught me, I did everything by myself actually. And here I am, I came up with Ahadi. I couldn't get packaging, I came up with one. I branded it myself. And there we are. Of course, I referred, I did research. Yeah, so I have pads. I've given out, I've reached out to more than 1,000 girls since, and I'm happy about it.
That is a significant number. And it'll be coming just in a bit so that you can show us rather exactly what it is you make and also how you go about, making them. But let's go back a bit to understanding the materials, because also like we were having this convo off air, there's still a lot of skepticism in regards to wanting to use these reusable pads, because also there's that notion of, you know, it's cloth-like. I'm not so sure if it's hygienical for me. So for you as a person, what kind of materials do you use, and why specific those ones that would make it hygiene for a lady to use those kind of pads?
I'll talk about materials in general first.
Okay.
And we all in clothes in this place. Is there anybody who is saying, I won't wear my clothes, are they hygienic, nini, nini? Nothing, isn't it?
No.
So you can use cloth. And this really makes it good because these people, they used tissue paper. Recycled tissue paper is not necessarily hygienic. They use blankets, they use whatever they can lay at their hands. Many girls end up messing their reproductive system because of infections. So it's not really fair to begin thinking about these materials out there. I've done my research. We have cotton, and you know cotton is very expensive. And even to maintain cotton takes a lot. Cotton easily rots, cotton easily stains. To clean a cotton thing, you need detergents. And so, I came up with something that is affordable and comfortable. After my research, I found that fleece, there are two types of fleece. There's a cotton fleece. It's exactly the same.
So this is how it looks like?
Yes, I'll show you a pad here.
Okay.
This is a pad. You can also show. It's a pad.
Yeah.
Just touch. So you can even put it against your skin and feel.
Very cotton.
Very cotton. It's a good synthetic.
Okay.
And for the purpose.
So this is how it looks like?
Yes. This is my design.
All right.
Purple is royalty. White is purity. So girls need to be confident because periods is a purity thing.
So again, also for you, the colors are very significant.
Very significant, and my name is very significant.
All right. So what you're saying is that material needs to be also specific.
Yes.
Okay.
So long as you have a material that is breathable, so that you don't get like cooked up, it will work. Yes.
Okay.
And we know that synthetics are almost maybe 70%, if I can say, of the materials that are easily available and are fairly priced. So this is called fleece. This is called lining. In between, I have some material that is cotton, and it's very absorbable.
In between these two?
Yes. Okay. There are 4 layers.
All right.
Layer 1, layer 2, and then I have a sheath, oilcloth. It's waterproof. So it's likely that when a girl is using this one, she's not going to leak. And you know how what leaking has done to us. I could have failed in my career.
And again, also talking about the stigma that's around it.
And the stigma that's around it.
All right.
So the ladies who have used them are quite comfortable. And they say, zinawabembeleza, they are soft and nice. You see?
You talked about these are 3 materials, you say?
4.
4 materials. Let's talk a bit about that cost of production, because then again, just as we talk about the normal pads, the cheapest one being 50 shillings. For this specific one, do you sell it to these girls? Do you distribute it, for free? How do you go about giving it to them?
There's nothing for free. Somebody has to pay for it somewhere, even if you're distributing. So for me, because I got that grant and I wanted to do a social enterprise, I had to bring up my thing to be affordable. If you check on the internet, the materials are not even available locally. So I had to do
the ones used to make such?
Yes, these materials are very expensive, even if you import.
Okay.
Especially the ones that are called cotton. But these are available. And my partners, where I buy, they realize that these ones are not purely for profit, but we need to sustain ourselves. So they give me discount. I will not talk about the pricing, but I find that at the end of the day, I'm able to sell a whole packet for 500 shillings.
So what is inside is a whole packet?
This is one pack. I have different packages, but this is my standard pack.
Okay, contains how many?
4 pads and an instruction leaflet on how to use the pads.
Okay.
So this is a plastic bag. It's not exactly plastic, but it is waterproof. It will be used to carry the pads, the wet one and the dry one.
Okay.
So you go out with a dry one, you'll come back home with a wet one. You'll just go and change. When you need to change, it will not leak. You'll keep it in your bag. When you come in the evening, oops,
you can be able to
At the
change
time
that.
for washing, you just soak it inside there.
There. So does it mean for these girls you also give them, you know, the buckets, or do you sell it as a whole package to them? How do you go about it?
We have 3 packages.
Okay.
The first package is this one.
All right.
It's the standard pack. It goes for 500 shillings. We have...
This goes for 500 shillings?
Yes. And these pads can last for more than 1 year.
All right. We'll come back to that in a bit.
Then when you finish that, I have a second pack, which is called Dignity Pack. Dignity Pack has got a bucket, has got a piece of soap. All right. It has 6 pads.
Inside?
Yes.
Okay.
And a flannel.
Okay.
That goes for 1,000, 1,100.
Which again still lasts you for a year?
These ones will last more because there are 6 pads.
Okay.
Even the people who has 4 pads, if God can help them to have 6 to 8 pads, they can use them for many years, 3 years, 4 years. So you see, they end up being cheap. A girl goes into Form 1. If you give her 8 pads, she's likely to use 3 years. Then she'll just have her last one to finish and go to school. Girls are dropping out of school because they don't have pads.
Exactly.
When a girl drops out of school, her destiny is changed. I don't want to say her destiny is lost. Her destiny is changed because atakaa tu kwa maisha ya kijiji, atafanya menial jobs. But now if a girl finishes school and goes to college, itakuwa presenter kama wewe.
Right.
Ama atakuwa mwalimu kama mimi.
Yeah, Bethsheba, let's talk a bit about the cost, because again, the way we are saying is just, even as we try to borrow comparisons, the kawaida one, like we said, it is 50 shillings. This one lasts for like a year, the way you mentioned, especially for the ones that are 4 inside, and they go for 500 bob. Do you feel like we are still a long way to go? Because I mean, if it's still chargeable, that amount, can these girls be able to afford this?
The girls are not affording it.
So what are we doing then? What are you doing?
That is why I have to partner with stakeholders in education and women. We have people who are lobbying about menstrual health, pads should be free, blah, blah, blah.
We have that day being every May of every year being celebrated as well.
And I'll still celebrate, and I still give out pads, and I'll still do an event. So that is how people come in. That's why I'm even on KBC, to appeal to people to come and help. Right now, girls are on lockdown. Dangerous. Did you see the headlines for yesterday? It was how many girls who are pregnant while doing exams, how many have run away,
and the numbers are still rising.
And how many have died. And maybe it's just because of a single pad. If they had a pad, they would not have gone out with border man or just some men there who take advantage of girls. I know the men we have here are very responsible.
So does it mean you still have a very long way to go?
We have a long way to go. Me, I'm just even not scratching if you put me on the map, because I'm a small organization. I've been there for 2-3 years going.
Since 2018?
18, 19, 20 lockdown. But I did my most work in lockdown because I just clicked something that I need to do outreaches. And I called people to come and partner with me. And people came and bought pads. And I distributed pads to 10 girls who are teenage moms. And that is what I'm trying to avoid by reaching out to the other girls. Teach them menstrual health, we teach them morals, we teach them how to relate with boys and girls. And then we teach them also self-defense. So people come. I hope the people listening to me, I will just try and find out where I am so that they can work with me.
Okay. I just want you to take your seat so that we can continue having this conversation. So we are still talking about matters, menstrual hygiene, and specifically just trying to target mostly the reusable pads. Try to see what different organizations here and there are doing to try and assist girls and women out there who cannot have access to these sanitary pads. Bethsheba, you earlier on talked about 1,000 girls that you have reached so far. And I'm interested in wanting to know which areas have you done this so far?
I've done
and
20.
Why specific those areas?
I've done 20 girls in Kisumu because Somo Africa sponsored. I've done 10 girls in Kiambio slum, still Somo Africa sponsored. I have done some more in Kiambio. I realized that Kiambio is so vast and the need is great. So I made that my home area of operation. I don't live in Kiambio, but I live just nearby. So I got in touch with one of the girls because the mother used to come to wash my clothes. But when lockdown happened, the mother couldn't come And she sent it. So I got talking because I have this thing for girls. I would really love them to succeed and become people in the society because they can.
For young girls.
Yes.
Okay.
So I asked her, do you know girls who got pregnant in your class or in Nini? She told me yes. Can you call them for me? I need to meet 20 girls. So with their mother and another lady, they looked for 20 girls and we had an outreach. So I took it on my own. My friends were donating, like I would come here and each of you would give me 500 each. So I raised some money and we had a class, we had fun, and we donated the pads. There are other people also who work with me. I have Anne Mwangi, she's my assistant. I have other people who are in it, my daughter, my niece, some of our neighbors and some ladies from the church.
Okay.
Yes.
Who also assist you
they
in
also
that.
Assist me in
so does it mean you also want to widen your scope and perhaps reach other different areas? And if so, which areas have you identified and what makes these areas key interest areas for you to want to reach out, perhaps sell, distribute, or even offer trainings about these reusable pads?
The key areas, like I really wanted to reach West Pokot.
Okay.
Pokot, you've seen much about
the northern
Pokot.
part of the country.
You've seen Pokot, there are floods. You've seen even schools are cut off. You've seen so many of that.
Yeah.
That is one of my major areas. I had hoped that I would reach out to Pokot 1,000 girls because I have a key person who would organize for me meetings. I would go there for a week and have like 100 or 200 because I can get them
so
from...
you've been there before different times?
I haven't been.
Okay.
I've just been in Kiambio.
Oh.
But I have people. Now during the beginning of the year when I was planning, I got contacts. So I have Pokot, I have Maralal, there's a pastor there. We are organizing. Lockdown imetuzuia kidogo. And then I have Kiambio is my mainstay. I will do 4 outreaches. Madhare, 1 outreach. Basically that.
So Pokot, you want to target about 1,000 girls. And when you say targeting 1,000 girls, is it just in the aspect of training or distribution of these pads as well?
Okay, basically is the distribution of pads, but the distribution of pad has a package in that we will have a menstrual health day in a school. So we will teach about menstrual health, menstrual hygiene. Then we will also teach about self-defense and we will teach about relationships, boy-girl relationships, because these are the ones that mess up our little girls. They don't know how to say no. And we have to teach them how to say no because they have to focus on what they need to achieve in the end. So the pads come with a package. I didn't start that way, but I've mutated. I just thought that I will do the pads and people will come and buy pads. And that is it. It didn't work. So I have changed. And from 2019, because of the COVID pandemic, I just stepped in so that I could do some mitigation.
Now, anytime we talk about menstrual hygiene as a whole, anytime we talk about pads, whether it's buying them, distributing them, poverty as an aspect never misses. And it's oftentimes the major cause of even why young girls would engage, you know, in sexual activities just to be able to get pads. What do you feel we can do as a society to bridge that gap? Perhaps maybe assist or anything that we can do in regards to that, at least bridge that gap of poverty to be able to assist these young girls.
Okay. Pads poverty is a worldwide issue. So zero in Kenya, I would say we have so many women out there who are supposed to be dealing with women issues. If only we could get together and come out to even assist the government. The government has a program for distributing pads.
I like
and I've
that,
already
if we
told
could
you.
assist the government. So it's not always a question of the government must do this and that.
The government will not do everything because who is the government? You are the government and I am the government.
It's you and I.
So let's come together. We are the government and find ways. We have people who are willing to donate. See, like maybe I'm not credible enough to stand in the street with a banner and tell them, nisaidiri na pesa, 2 million, nifanye hii. But as we begin to make inroads the way we are doing now, people will see we can stand with Beth. We can stand with Ahadi girls. We already have Ahadi girls. And I'm proud to say, the girls that we contacted last year, all of them returned to school.
Wow.
All.
That is
There were
beautiful.
almost 100, all of them. And we were supposed to have a meet with them now that schools are closed, so that we have a party. We have an Ahadi Dad, so that we just do something small.
So it means actually if we come together, we can make strides.
Yes.
And we can stop complaining about, you know, we need to do this, we need to let the government needs to stand into this place and do
Hakuna
this.
government. Wewe ndio gava.
Ni mimi na wewe.
Yeah, we are the government. And then those people should facilitate us achieve our objectives.
Okay.
We want girls not to be dropping out of school for the sheer fact that they're getting pregnant because of poverty, or maybe they have been raped, or their school is far, they don't have school fees.
Or they have to stay at home because they do not have the sanitary
They stay at
pads.
home. Thank you for that point. You know, girls waste a whole term menstruating because every month they are 5 days away. 5 days away. 5 days times 12 is how many days? Almost a term.
Yeah.
Their grades are going down, of course. Yes, and boys are just continuing. You'll see that boys normally just stop the girls a bit because they don't have those breaks. So I'm very happy to know that we can talk and let people know, because somebody will come and tell you, you didn't, hukutuambia. Here we are telling you now.
We need to have this conversation.
We need to have this conversation.
Okay, you talked about the leaflet there, which has instructions about how it can be used, how people can go about cleaning it. Maybe you can just run us through that, because again, also the way we were saying earlier, there's always that issue of hygiene. Sometimes there's that lack of understanding how to perhaps clean such kind of pads, maybe for how long you need to wear them before you get to do that. Walk us through that.
I'll walk you through that. So this is the Ahadi Reusable Pads
Leaflet?
leaflet.
Okay.
Contents: 4 regular pads and a package. Do not bleach. Do not use hot water. Do not iron. If you iron, you mess. If you bleach, if you use hot water, you are sticking the dye. Okay. After that, we have a picture for placing in, how to place it, how to fold and keep it here. We also have soaking, 15 minutes.
Before you actually wash it?
Yeah, so that the blood loses.
All right.
So you'll just find that you have menstrual water. It's not a whoosh whoosh, people say, but you know when you're washing yourself, it's even a bit dirtier, isn't it? So this one is soak the water. Then you rinse again. You dry out in an airy place. You don't need to cover with a lace or with a blanket or with something, because periods are just normal. And it's nice to have periods when you should. If you don't, then you know you get into trouble.
Yeah. So meaning there's a manual on how it needs to be kept clean and how it needs to be washed.
Yes, and it has to be dried dry. In countries that are advanced, they have washing machines. Do you know they just rinse? After they've rinsed, they wash them with their clothes in the washing machine.
Oh, wow. So then this needs to be like after how long? Because just when you look at the package there for the kawaida one, you know, the 500 bob one, this has four pads, and you say it can last a girl or a woman a period of 1 year.
Plus.
1 year plus. Okay. So then after how long should one need to wash? After they've used it, yes.
No, immediately you use it.
That is
Instead
after
of discarding,
you wash it.
you wash it. So you just wash it. If you're at home, you just drop it in your water solution. You can put Omo inside, no jig. You can put Omo, you can just put it in. Then you can use kawaida soap to wash it. Yes. So you just, it's a one-time use, but not disposable. You use it, wash, and dry, and keep.
For the next time.
For the next time. So after your 5 days, on your 6th day, you just rinse them again, dry them out, hang them in the sun. Thoroughly dry, put them back. You're good to go.
And wait for the next month, perhaps.
You're waiting for the next month.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about that issue of stigma, because you also faced it.
Yes.
You know, while in school and even in your adult life. How do you think we can deal with this issue? Because the way we are saying, menstrual hygiene is a natural occurrence. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's very normal.
Normal and good.
Yeah. Why is it that even at this point, we still have the issue of stigma?
We have stigma because of our traditions.
Culture?
Culture. Cultural traditions, cultural beliefs, cultural practices. When a woman is in her period, she cannot go in front of people. But I bet that was because they didn't have a solution. There were no pads. And if you're using leaves, for that matter, and you can't go with them. Tissue was not there.
And blankets.
Those were not there.
Okay.
In our mother's days and in our grandmother's days,
it was leaves.
They used to sit in the heat, hapo kwa meko, for the days. So they're not even going about their businesses. They can't. So that's how stigma came. And maybe because of how they were, maybe there were orders. You know, if you don't keep hygiene, there can be smells. And so we just need to educate ourselves and the society to know that there is no shame in menstruating. We can just translate it to the other side of the men, of which we will not go. They also go through natural processes. Are you ashamed to go to the loo?
No, it's a natural process.
Then, and you'll be, if you're not going to the loo, then you're going to the hospital. Isn't it?
Clearly.
Yeah. So there's no, isn't mambo za kawaida. You're just going to the bathroom and you change. Yeah, and you're just having your time. It's your period. It's girls call it different names, kunyesha, moon, or whatever name.
Okay, so it means that also we need to train not just the girls but also, you know, the men and the boys. But I'm also interested, just as you draw the conversation to a close, how you teach or how you train these young girls on how to face or how to deal with this stigma. Because again, it's one thing to say we need to train them, but for those that have faced it or for those that even might be going through it, how do you teach them on how to deal with that?
When we go for outreaches, we have sessions.
Okay.
The first time I went to Kajiado Girls, I was just given several girls and we sat and we were talking the way we are talking.
Yeah.
So one girl told us, ati sisi, tuliambiwa ku have sex si mbaya, only you should not get pregnant. And they were in an institution where if you get, they are sponsored for the next how long? If you get pregnant, you've lost your life, quote unquote, for that season, because you'll go back to the manyata, you'll be married by an old man. So we just tell them these are natural things, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Had you had something, put it at the back. It's like an accident. If a car hits you, you go to the hospital, get well, you won't be sitting at the road there that you're hit by a car. So you just had an oops, clean yourself, move on. You have a future ahead.
Oh, wow. I love that. A good place to end it. Clean yourself and move on.
Yes.
Thank you, Bethsheba Otuga, for your insight on menstrual hygiene and reusable pads. That's why we bring the conversation to a close. I'm Doreen Arange on behalf of the entire team. We say thank you so much for watching. Till tomorrow, good morning.